Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. A better yet, it's Senketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a light fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley docky and by the mouthful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Pull the Trigger on a podcast. The podcast where, god damn it, we do not lose our way here. We don't. Because,
No.
and that, I feel like that's important to mention, because somebody in this episode is going to lose their way. And, I mean, it gets worse next episode, but this episode, things happen. Lots of people lose their way. Once again, I meant to record this before the intro, but there is some slight molestation in this episode. So if you don't want to hear about that, it's so slight we're barely even gonna mention it, except for now. But if you don't want a chance hearing about it, please feel free to catch us next time. Crazy things happen this episode. Regarding the plot, so it really sucks that they put this kind of stuff in on plot-heavy episodes.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. Hey, Doc, this is Dr. Sea Monster. I'm Fire Princess Lily. We're here every week doing Kill a Kill. I totally messed up the intro here, but it's cool. It's whatever. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
I'm just fine.
Cool. What have you been up to?
Not too much. Not really. Let's see. Honestly, not much has been going on for me. Most of the week was spent getting ready to go back to work, which I am back at work now.
Oh, nice. What you doing?
I do science lectures for school kids.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't quite catch that.
I do science lectures for school kids.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we're doing it all over Zoom now, so.
I mean, you gotta be safe.
Yeah.
Very cool. And that's all that's been going on?
Basically.
Okay. As for me, I have been working. It's what I do. I work. I've always worked. Because, for some reason, I'm considered an essential employee. I shouldn't be, but hey, you know what it is. Of course, they're loosening the definition of that every single day. So, a lot of people know where I'm coming from. See. What else going on? Watching cartoons, of course. That's what I do. Western animation, still good. I know this is a show about anime, but come on, you gotta give props to Western animation these days. It bugs me that the Animaniacs are coming back, and they're pretty gutsy. I mean, the Animaniacs isn't bad, right, at all. But the Animaniacs call themselves, they're from, they specifically mentioned in, their comeback trailer that, they're from the golden era of animation, which I think is crazy. I think that's a crazy statement to make, honestly. To call, the 90s the golden era of animation. No.
It's a little bit smug.
It's smug. I don't like it. It bugs me. Especially when you have shows like Regular Show, Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, Steven Universe, all these shows that came out, roughly around the same time that, have comedy, story, nuance, the, grand Gumball not so much, but, you have these cartoons with, these great stories that manage to mix, a little bit of everything, and they're really well, animated. I mean, people talk about like the inconsistencies in Steven Universe, but the only rules they had for Steven Universe is this character is shorter than this character, this other character is shorter than that character, and this character is the tallest. Other than that, go nuts.
Yeah, the point of the show was not 100% faithful animation or character design from episode to episode.
Yeah, it was more about the story. It was more about the journey.
And like when it needed to look pretty, it looked extremely pretty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. It just feels smug. I don't like it. I'm probably still gonna watch the Animaniacs, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah.
But I did finish this week. I finished season 3 of Kipo. It's the last season of Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, and woof, what a show! What a crazy, amazing show! Like, and it's on Netflix. If you got Netflix, you should watch it. It's really good. It's so like incredible. And this season made me cry a whole bunch. Like they really fucked with me. Really fucked with me. I can't like get into spoilers because some of you are gonna watch it. At least I hope you are. Like you are just missing out. You're only punishing yourself by not watching it. To be honest, that is like how that goes. But really good, satisfying ending. Satisfying and not satisfying. Like the antagonist gets their comeuppance as one would expect, right?
Yeah.
Just, they didn't get it in the way that I thought would be like amazing and great and the best. So I have opinions on it, but they still get their comeuppance. So at least that happened. So cool. Last week I was really excited about DuckTales because somebody erroneously told me that we were going to have the 1 hour Darkwing Duck special, but that is actually happening this week. Last week's episode of DuckTales, pretty good though. I liked it. Had a very gruesome death, like on-screen death. Straight up Indiana Jones and the Last Ark kind of death. Crazy for a cartoon on Disney, of all things.
Oh. Well then.
I mean, nobody's flesh melted. No, actually, yes, somebody's flesh melted. It was pretty gruesome. Like, wow. That is gutsy. Didn't see it coming. Disney's been doing a lot with DuckTales, but woof. Did not see it coming. But hey, what are you gonna do? What else? As far as animation's going. I think that's it on animation. Started watching Yashahime, which I think I mentioned last week. I've only watched like the first episode though, so I don't really have a lot to talk about that. But I love that Inuyasha's daughter is name is like sorry. Her name is like one letter off from being moron, which is perfect because she's dumb. So I like that. See, and then there is wrestling, and let me tell you, wrestling this week pretty good. Not like the greatest wrestling's ever been, but pretty good. The AEW's got to do more with their women. I say this every week. Every week I say this, and every week they continue not to. And it's it is what it is. The women got 9 minutes of television time. So cool. But it's, 9 minutes is better than like previous weeks where they've gotten like only like 4 and stuff. So, that's good. But when you have things like a promo between two people who aren't even wrestling like that night, go for like 15 minutes. feels like they could have cut that promo just like a little short and moved the minutes other places.
Sure.
Just like, because, and it's not even that I don't understand why people like MJF. Like, he's the last old school heel, blah, blah, blah. And I know that people I like Chris Jericho. So, both of them talking to one another, fine, okay. But it didn't need to go on, like, for 15 minutes. That was ridiculous. And half of that is just, I'm not half of it, I'm, exaggerating. But a good chunk of that is MJF just, like, struggling to say something in character. It's like, it was fine, like, the first 2 times, but when you did it 4 times, no. Somebody could have cut in and got to the point immediately. And I don't know that Ortiz was always supposed to, like, interrupt the back and forth between Jericho. Probably was. But it really did feel like he was like, hey, come on, we need to hurry this shit up. This has gone on too long. So, props to Ortiz. Even if that was always the plan. Still, I appreciate somebody being like, hey, let's wrap this up. Orange Cassidy had an amazing match versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT title. It went the entire 20 minutes, which I'm fine with. Like, it's really cool. It went to a time limit draw. Orange Cassidy nearly won. Nearly won the TNT title. Just as the final hand was coming down for that 3 count for him to get the 3, the bell rung because time had elapsed. Which to me is crazy. There's only been 2 other time limit draws in AEW history. And so it's pretty cool when it happens. And it was really neat that Orange Cassidy, the guy who wrestles with his hands in his pockets, managed to go the full 20 minutes with somebody. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, just like watching him regular, thinking that he could do that, and he did. So that was fun. And I really loved, the way that they built up the main event this week. The main event was between a wrestler named Lance Archer and the champion, Jon Moxley. And I think we've talked about Lance Archer before, have we not?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, for those who don't know, Lance Archer, he's a big dude. He's like built at like 6'7" or something like that. He's like crazy tall. And he's just like, his whole character is a monster. That's his persona, is that, he's a guy who runs around and beats everybody up. Even when he walks into the ring, he's always just like punching out somebody random. Like, more than one person behind a camera has been, quote-unquote, punched out. So, pretty good. But him and Jon Moxley spent, like, the entire night fighting. Like, they'd cut to the back somewhere, and, like, they're, like, talking with, like, one of them, and then the other would come out and attack. Really good. So, towards the end, they're like, fine, this is going to be crazy. We're going to make this a no DQ match. And that was pretty much the best thing they could have done for this match. It was super big, super awesome. And it was really reminiscent of the match they had at Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year, because they had a match for the New Japan US title. It was a Texas death match. Lance Archer actually came out wearing the exact same gear that he wore that night, so I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I need. Jon Moxley retained, and it's cool. I mean, I think he's going to hold on to it until after Full Gear. I think it's going to go to Kenny Omega. We'll see how it goes. There's a big tournament happening. So it'll be fun. And I think that's all I have to talk about. That's it. So you want to talk about Kill la Kill?
I'd love to.
All right. This week we watched episode 18, Into the Night, which, unlike last week, I don't have a good segue for that name. Anyway, We open on Ragyo. She's still impaled and bleeding. And Satsuki is like doing her big, people don't live for clothes. I'm going to overthrow life fibers. We're just cutting back in basically where we left.
Yeah, and Ragyo is still crucified.
Ragyo is still crucified. It's important to mention that because she's not going to stay crucified the whole episode.
No.
Too bad. Satsuki reveals her entire plan. She's like, yep, I pretended to obey you as I waited for this day to come. Fear is freedom. Subjugation is liberation. Contradiction is truth. These are the truths of the world. Surrender to those truths, you pigs who fawn over clothing. Satsuki is great in this episode. Whole time.
Oh yeah, this episode is pretty much all Satsuki.
Mm-hmm. This is peak Satsuki.
Satsuki.
The assistant to Ragyo, whose name, I don't know. Homaru. Actually does do stuff.
Yes. She got sleeves.
She got sleeves. She goes to attack Satsuki with them sleeves, only to be blocked by a giant Honoji Academy rulebook, and Gamagori steps out and transforms into his Shackle Regalia Mark II, and is backed up by all his disciplinary squad buddies. They wrap up the assistant Homaru. Yeah, there we go. Satsuki's like, hey, Imamura, release everybody from all the life fibers. And he releases guns that shoot out pin needles, and it busts apart the life fibers.
Yeah, he has copied the new speech technology.
He's copied the new speech technology.
Better, but still copied it.
Yeah, the Menchoko family is just still eating away. They're like, what happened? Doesn't matter. Keep eating. That's good. Montaro is like, oh my god, what a relief, you guys are free. It's weird. But, Homaru says, how did you do that? He's like, oh yeah, I copied the nudist speech technology. I also made it better because it wasn't that good, but I did it. So I'm awesome. Ragyo's not impressed, even though she should be. Satsuki's like, you should not underestimate these students. Like, every last student has been trained as a warrior to fight you. No, to fight life fibers. Behold the power of Honoji Academy. And I guess everybody's transforming back here. Or, like, letting the power, get to them. Because there's a lot of star sparkles in this crowd.
Activating their one-star uniforms.
Yeah, they're activating their one-star uniforms. But as they're activating their one-star uniforms, though, we pan over, really, to Nui, who's like, oh, so this was her plan. I'm real impressed. This is a good one. This is a good plan. Time to, end it. And she steps down, only to be faced by Sagayama.
Yeah.
Who's like, no, you fucking stop right where you are. I'm the one you're going to face. You're going to face me. And he transforms into his Blade Regalia Mark III. Which, as I mentioned the first time they showed up, it is a lot, more trim than the first two versions of this outfit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's built for speed. But he's like, I'm going to make you pay for what you did to me. And Nui's like, I don't know you. Who are you? It's like, I'm Sagayama of the Elite Four. And I'm going to get payback for what you did. He lunges in. And that's when we get to the title card. And no intro. No opening this week. They're just going all out. Long episode. And Ryuko, we cut over to her. And she's like, Sasuke's taking out her mom? And Sakya's like, hey, she's on our side. That's awesome. We have the same goals. And the new speech guys are like, I don't know what's going on either, but anybody who wants to take out life fibers, good for me. That's when Gamagori appears on a big screen. And is like, Matoi, Lady Sasuke intended from the very beginning to fight the life fibers. But to deceive Director Ryago, she had to, play into her plan, She couldn't allow her true intentions to be shown even for a minute. And Ryuko's like, then why the fuck did y'all attack Nudist Beach? And why were you fighting me? What the fuck was all that about? Only for Satsuki to appear on the screen and say, look, I have no need for half-baked allies.
Yeah, so we get Satsuki admitting what's been hidden up the entire series. All the fighting was to test Ryuko to see if she would be a good ally, and even if she had to join their inner circle. He pretty much just comes out and says it.
Yeah, she's like, she says she has no need for half-baked allies. If you couldn't, like, stand up to me, then you would have been useless in my war against the Life Fiber, so I don't even care. Be mad. She's like, if you don't like the way that I fight, if you don't like my way, you can fight me afterwards, but if your ambition is to protect humanity's freedom, fight right now with every ounce of your strength. Peak Satsuki.
Peak Satsuki.
Ryuko fucking just, she smiles and spits up more blood. God, I really don't like her.
No.
She's like, she says, you have no qualms about literally stabbing your mother in the back? She's like, of course not. I'll use any means necessary to defeat a monster like you. Even if it invites scorn as a conniving villain, I'll gladly welcome it. Ryuko's like, how could you call me a monster? I'm your mom. She's like, yeah, I stabbed you through the heart. You're still alive. You're a monster. And then we watch Ryuko actually regenerate using the life fibers. And Satsuki's like, you're a monster that merged with life fibers. You're no longer human. Ryuko says, I'm no monster. I'm merely a being who understands like the will of the life fibers. I just come closer to the truth. She removes her hand from being impaled, only for Satsuki to hit a button so it was impaled again. We cut over to the Manchoko family. They're like, what the fuck is going on? That lady's a freak. And Satsuki comes on the big screen and says, this is the true nature of life fibers. Everyone who saw this battle, burn your Revox clothing. Burn it. This is the cause for human freedom. And then we cut to Nui and Sagayama fighting. And Nui is just like toying with him. She's like, payback? Did I lend you something? He's like, you forgot about your attack on me? And she's like, sorry. When a girl changes her underwear, she forgets the past too, which is a weird statement. Seems like she slices clean through Sagayama. And she's like, you think a little wardrobe change will let you beat me? And that's when he reappears behind her. She's only cut through an after image. There we go. I almost said shadow clone, but that's not right. Sagayama swings his arms and they disappear. And Nui's like, what the fuck? And that's when all of a sudden a million kendo sticks like come out of nowhere and just start beating on her. She's like, in exchange for my sight, my blade now travels faster than light. And this, it's hard to tell if she's also getting hit, but she's kind of dodging too. It's weird.
He's definitely not dodging them all.
She's not dodging them all. Iwamuda is in his Pro Regalia Mark II, which once again I still do not like.
It's low poly.
I don't like it. It sucks. But it's like, you're exaggerating. No, it's impossible for a human to move faster than light. However, it is possible to appear as if you are. It's like, if you fix your after image in place and use optical camouflage, and that's when Nui pops up in front of her. She's like, hey, look, shut up, you nerd. You can't just stay hidden with your computers. It's too creepy. That's when Gamagori smacks her with a big whip and like locks her down. And he's like, that's enough like bouncing around for you. This is ridiculous. We're gonna keep you in place. She instantly chops through the whip. She's like, 3 against 1, huh? And that's when, gosh, I'm having trouble keeping all their names straight. Non, thank you. Pops up behind her. She's like, no, I told you, we're called the Elite Four because there's 4 of us. And that's when she blasts Nui into the audience and past the other Elite Four members. She doesn't care who gets caught up in her blast. And Nui's like, no, you never said that. And she's like, I'm sorry.
Not an asshole.
No, is an asshole. Gamagori says, I must warn you, we never give up. We'll never bow down before the likes of you. She's like, how annoying. When people say stuff like that, I get really pissed off.
Yeah, this whole Elite Four versus Nui fight is great, honestly.
It is. Mako's back, everybody. She's back. She's home. She's got souvenirs and snacks for everybody. She, like, dives in, rolls in, and just beans her father in the head. It's really good. Really interesting to note here in the subtitles. Boruzo, is that his name?
Barazo, yeah.
Barazo, says you're alive in Japanese, but he says my daughter in English. It's real weird. Pretty sure they can say my daughter in Japanese. I'm not sure why they went that route, but hey, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's like, you're alive, my daughter. She's like, yep, and I got souvenirs. We're not about to die without handing these out. And it's just food from Osaka. And so they start eating. Only for Gamagori. Huh?
Even though they were just eating a minute ago.
Right? Bottomless pits. Gamagori pops in and he's like, hey, what's the matter with you? God. Mako says, matter? Don't you mean Mata? Only for Mantaro to say, if you mean Mantaro, it's me. He's like, that's enough. That's enough with word games. Get all these people out of here. Now. And she's like, why should I do it? He's like, it's not safe here. We don't wish there to be any unnecessary casualties. So do it. She's like, okay. It's like, hey, everybody, please run away. Nobody runs. That's when she turns the back alley clinic car into a all-you-can-eat buffet car. She's like, I've got yummy kansai takoyaki. I've got all this food. You can come and get it. It's all you can eat. And that's when all the people in the rubble start following her slowly.
Endless buffets.
Endless buffets. We pan over to Raggio's like, tell me, when did you turn against me? She's like, I never turned against you. I've been against you for as long as I can remember. My entire life was in preparation for this day. I learned the truth when I was 5. Father told me everything. About life fibers. So
we're going to get... Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah?
We're going to get Satsuki's big motive rant now.
Yeah, it's a big motive rant. It's really good. She's like, he told me everything about life fibers, about covers, and about you, Raggio. The true aim of all your vile deeds. All of it. We cut back to the past. She's like, Father said to me, this will be your wedding dress. And which we've seen multiple times. We've seen this scene multiple times throughout the show. But we get the added bonus of her saying, but when you put it on, you will become a slave to clothing. And we get a different scene of Janketsu, like, threatening to eat Satsuki. And we find out about Soichiro Kurin, and how he was a scientist who was so impressive with the science that he was adopted into the Kurin family, you know, by marrying Raggio. And they had a child, and that was Satsuki. But she was only born to be used as a life fiber test subject. But because they waited too long, she was, 1 year old, the test just didn't work. She was too old to, like, be tested on. So they're like, fine. And Raggio said, fine, if she's too old, we'll just use this one, rubbing her stomach. And that's when we see a baby with, like, its back cut open, and, like, life fibers connected all throughout it. And Sasuke explains that the following year, you conducted an experiment to fuse life fibers into your next child when it was barely out of your womb, into a baby, And we watch as the heart monitor slowly counts down to 0, and the baby is presumed dead.
So yeah, in case she had more reasons to hate Ragyo, she does life-threatening experimentation on her own children.
She does. She sucks. We don't like her.
She's the worst.
The worst.
Worst anime parent.
Ragyo's only concern is like she can't believe that her genes failed. A child that possesses her genes, is there an unmistakable rejection to life fibers? Oh well, it can't be helped. And she hits a button, and the child, who we all presume is dead, just falls down a hole, like a garbage chute. It is fucked up. The worst. Maybe I should have put a warning about that. Whoops. Sorry, everybody. But Satsuki says that's when her father made up his mind to turn against Ragyo. He would rebel against life fibers and her, and do everything in his power to prepare to like turn on Ragyo. Ragyo says he was a hack. He couldn't fathom the truth of the universe. Satsuki says, my father knew that you would come after him. That's why he entrusted everything to me. He's like, and Ragyo just continues to insult him. He's like, wow, a grown man turning to his 5-year-old for help. He's like, I wasn't just any 5-year-old. I'm Satsuki Kurin. Did you forget? She's like, look, you're really great at monologuing, but even if you defeat me, you will never defeat Life Fibers. She's like, oh, the original Life Fiber, you mean? Huh, I already have a plan in motion. And that's when we cut over to the Kurin estate, and Lori, along with, like, I don't know, all his henchmen? Who are these people?
Sewing club.
I guess it's just a sewing club, yeah. They pop in to the original Life Fiber to be greeted by Satsuki's butler, and they immediately start hosing everything down with Insta-Freeze to cause the original Life Fiber to go inert. That's the plan here. Lori comes on the big screen at the Enoji Academy. He's like, we've rendered the original Life Fiber dormant. Ragyo's like, what are those scum doing wandering beneath the mansion? Oh, yeah. We already took care of your butler and everybody who is associated with you when I spent the night there. So, good job letting me do that, dummy. But we get a really dramatic scene of Satsuki being like 100 feet tall, pointing a giant sword at Ragyo. I mean, this is just for dramatics. But she says, Ragyo, in the name of human liberation, your life is forfeit. This is when her assistant busts free and then gets chopped in half. And Ragyo has escaped. Ragyo is laughing in the background. She's like, Satsuki, I will help myself to your troops. She's in the middle of all the 1-star students, her and her assistants, and she releases a colorful weave of thread. And it somehow gets into their minds, into their brains.
Yeah, mind stitching is terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying.
She weaves life fibers into people's brains.
And then she controls them. She raises their hand, they all fall in line. And they've all lost their color. It's weird. But Ryuko's like, oh, that bitch! She turned all the students into her puppets. She's like, yeah, this is mind stitching. Mind stitching. I was turned my basing thread into their brains, and they can never disobey me. Get her! So all the students attack. Satsuki transforms. She's like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Do not care. If it's tools being used against me, then I'll just continue to fight with my all. I will not hold back. Consider anyone who attacks you to be the enemy. That's my motto. Until Ragyo is defeated, you have to fight with all you got. And she finishes her transformation. And she swings her sword as she comes down and sends students just flying. Ryuko's not pleased. She's like, hey, wait a minute. And that's when students come up to attack her. Mitsusugi saves her with his mech. and talks to her via his ass in her face. I don't like it.
No.
He's like, leave this to us. You go deal with Ragyo. She's like, okay. The Mohawk guy and Mitsuki fight the students. And they're like, man, I can't believe Sasuke's been trying to bring down Ragyo this whole time. Mitsuki's like, yeah, I can't either, but you know what? I don't care. Whoever wants to bring down Ragyo, I want them to do this. Let's just do it. He's like, what do we even come for? But we don't get an answer to that because we cut back over to Satsuki just swinging her sword, sending people flying. She's like, Ragyo, you won't escape me.
Yeah, Satsuki is taking no shit.
No, she's the main protagonist.
She is the protagonist of this episode.
Ragyo says, even though you're my daughter, I must say I am impressed. However, you're making several grave mistakes. She wraps Ryuko up in life fiber. She's like, and Senketsu's like, I cannot do this. This is too tight. And that's when the life fiber wraps around Ryoko's brain. Ragyo's like, for instance, you summon this Matoi girl here, and she's gonna make a perfect, counter against you. You may have expected her to fight for you, but if I do this, she becomes my pawn. And all the color is gone from Ryuko. You can see her brain. It's stitched up. And she's a mindless monster. And so she goes in to attack Satsuki. And she doesn't transform, which is important to note because there is so much power behind her swing that it's super impressive. Even to Ragyo.
Yeah. Especially to Ragyo.
Yeah. We cut back over to the Elite Four, who are trying to fight Nui, who is just making clones of herself using her clothes. She's like, you guys are really boring and you're too uptight, so I want to let my doppelgangers fight you. So try to remember how to have fun, okay? And then she goes away. We cut back over to Ryuko and Satsuki fighting. And Satsuki's like, come on, fucking snap out of it. This is bullshit. You're gonna let somebody control you? Ragyo's like, you can't get through to her. I tie up her nervous system really tight. She'll never break up free from my control. Ryuko does a move that causes both her scissor blade and Satsuki's sword to be thrown in the air. And they go to punch each other. And we get a big, bright star in the background that kind of obscures everything. But as we look, blood is hitting the uncolored Senketsu, and we pan up to see that Ryuko has hit herself. And she's like, don't screw with me. And her red hair streak slices through the life fibers in her brain.
Like a scissor.
Like a scissor.
Yeah. Ryuko has this moment of pure, unadulterated iron will, and it's fucking amazing. In case you forgot that Ryuko was supposed to be the protagonist.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ragyo's like, what the fuck? She reaches into her own brain and rips out the life fibers.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, creepy, and I like and don't like it. I don't.
Yeah, it's gross, but cool.
It's gross.
So cool.
But she frees herself from the control. The assistant's like, that's impossible. She broke free of your mind stitching? And Ragyo's like, I'm feeling something. I'm feeling something, but this feeling is impossible. Satsuki's like, I expected nothing less from somebody who's been a constant thorn in my side. And Ryuko's like, how long are you going to keep talking down to me? I've got a heap of bones to pick with you, but I'm taking her down, pointing at Ragyo. Ragyo says something that she said previously in French. I don't know what it means.
La vie est drôle. Life is funny.
Oh, life is funny. There we go. But Ryuko transforms. Oh, well, she's going to. Sorry. But that's when Nui pops up. She's like, hey, long time no see, Ryuko. And Ryoko's like, you, Nui Harui. It's like, Satsuki said that the whole killing your father thing was her idea. Well, that's a lie. It's a big, fat lie. It was Lady Ragyo and I who were behind the whole thing. You want me to give you this scissor blade back, right? Well, come here now. Come and avenge your father right now. But don't get mad at me if your quest for revenge costs you your life. Nui's great, and she also sucks.
Nui is the best. She's a great antagonist for Ryuko.
Yeah.
Because the conflict between Ryuko and Satsuki is it's control versus chaos. It's the red oni to blue oni.
Right.
But the conflict between Ryuko and Nui is, as much as Ryuko is like free and chaotic, Nui is just so much more havoc and insanity.
Absolutely.
It's like it's the lawful good versus chaotic good, but then there's the chaotic good versus the chaotic evil.
Yes.
Like that's the dynamics between those three characters. To put it into D&D terms, which are familiar to most of us.
Right. I'm sorry, I got distracted by something. Yeah, that's finished. But Ryuko says, hey, Ragyo's yours. I want to fucking take on Nui. And Sasuke's like, hey, she isn't yours to give. Whatever.
Which I love that line. That's such a good line. It's like,
Yeah.
she wasn't yours to give.
She's like, defeating my mother has been my lifelong ambition. Ryuko calms down. Her hair goes from being puffed up to relaxing, and she transforms. Which is really great. She actually transforms and looks a little different, to be honest. That's when she starts fighting with Nui, and Nui's like, this is great, this is fun. Only for Ryuko to make it not fun anymore. She's like, hey, were you always this slow? As she appears behind Nui, she's like, oh, hey, how about you fight all my doppelgangers? She's like, no, that's not even going to cut it when you're fighting me. And she destroys them all in an instant. She's like, impossible. She's like, what's the matter? I've never seen you look worried before. Nui's actual face is failing her.
Yeah, one of the things about Nui that's fun is as long as she's in control and having a good time, she keeps up the chipper attitude. But the moment that things stop going her way, she starts to freak out.
Yeah. Sakatsu says, hey, Ryuko. And she's like, what's wrong? Am I getting carried away again? He's like, no, quite the opposite. We're actually more in sync than we've ever been, ever. She's like, you know what? Right now, you and I are one, and I feel that. This is great.
Yeah, Ryuko has not lost her way.
She has not lost her way. She is just zipping around the battlefield, and she is striking Nui with such force that Nui's like, oh, how can an ordinary human have such power? This is insane. We cut over to Satsuki, who has taken care of Ragyo's assistant. And Satsuki says, now you're going to pay for taking the lives of my father and the baby sister who was never given a name. She's like, all of this revenge for an ancient history. For someone so young, you're so, boring.
It's supposed to like cliche.
Yeah, it's real. This is a real cliche. Satsuki says, for someone like you whose soul is enhanced by life fibers, you could never understand. She's like, yeah, but can you defeat me, though? He's like, I will take your head. Not even you will survive. She's like, and now I'll have your head. She turns her sword so that the light flash blinds Ragyo, and she literally decapitates her mother.
Satsuki cuts her fucking head off.
Just totally off. There's a shower of blood. Too much blood, honestly.
Yeah.
It comes... Sorry, go ahead.
But unfortunately,
yeah,
the only thing Ragyo sells is clothing.
Yep. We cut back over to the mansion, and the life fibers come back to life, and they start attacking the sewing club, impaling them. Sasuke's butler gets everybody out of there. She's like, and Lori's like, "Hello, Ninja Academy, please come in. Hello, Ninja Academy." The big screen. I'm sorry. Sasuke is looking over the horizon, and because she can feel something happening. And she's like, "Was I just imagining things?" That's when Rakio's head starts talking. She's like, it is you that's finished, Satsuki. She's like, what if it... She turns around to look at the head, only to get, like, sucker punched by the body.
Yep.
It's like, as long as a single scrap of skin, no, a single strand of thread can exist, my body can regenerate itself. Sorry for all the barking. There is construction outside my home. Anyway, she puts her head back on.
Regio pulls a cell.
One second, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So, Ragio puts her head back on. Did we lose Dr. Sea Monster?
Nope, still here.
Okay.
Yeah, Regio pulls a fucking cell and regenerates from the damage.
She does. She's like, even your sword can't sever my life fiber completely. So she's like, this is impossible. And the Elite Four is going to go help her. Only for the assistant to be like, no, you're not going to interfere. She's like, look, Satsuki, you're completely misunderstanding. You think that you're wearing Jinketsu perfectly, but you're not. You're just forcing yourself. You're just forcing it onto yourself. To the ignorant masses, even that much would appear impressive. But to me, I just give you like an A for effort. There's nothing uglier than seeing someone wear clothing that doesn't fit them. And sorry, go on.
And Regio continues to be the worst.
Oh yeah.
By beating the ever loving shit out of Satsuki.
She does beat the shit out of Satsuki. She like slugs her real hard, and then just continues to beat on her. She's like, wearing Jinketsu to this battle, that was a mistake. Of course, you wouldn't be able to stand before me if you weren't for his strength. Satsuki's like, I've had enough of your garbage. And she goes in for a swing, only for Ragio to break her sword with her fist, and then sock Satsuki in the gut.
Yeah, Ragio fucking breaks Bakuzan.
She does. She says, your little scheme is giving me no end of entertainment. And then she does something real gross. I don't even want to say it. She does a gross thing, and then she's like, but I think it's time for you to return Jinketsu. And she hits her with a energy beam, which blasts Satsuki back, and she falls prone to the stage. We get a scene of the broken sword hitting the stage at the same time. And Ryuko turns around to see what has happened. Because her and Seketsu can just feel that something bad has happened. She's like, Ryuko, look to the sky. And that's when all the life fibers make like a big, wide dome around the stadium. And they start coming down. So we just get like a big sky full of life fiber uniforms. And everybody's like, oh my god, this can't be. And that's when Ragio steps out wearing an untransformed Jinketsu, holding Satsuki by her hair.
Yep.
Like, these are beings created from life fibers. Ryuko's like, Satsuki, oh my god. That's when Ragio throws Satsuki so hard that it causes a crater all the way across the stage. She's like, "You're a disgrace, Satsuki Kirin. This is the fate that awaits any fools who dares oppose me. No, dares to oppose the life fibers." Ryuko's like, "You bitch!" This shows that Satsuki was never worthy to be a vessel for the life fibers. And that's when she transforms Genketsu, and transformation is different. The outfit looks different.
So we get Ragyo wearing Genketsu, but it looks distinctly different when it's transformed on Ragyo than when Satsuki's wearing it.
Yeah.
Like the pauldrons are differently placed. There's some different stuff around the hips.
Mm-hmm. That's when Ragyo appears just behind Ryuko. Is like, however, I had to thank the fool for allowing me to see someone I never expected to see. And she thrusts her hand into Ryuko, right into her chest.
Yeah.
And there is a star field happening between them. And Ragyo pulls out Ryuko's heart, and it is just life fibers. It's weaved in life fibers. She's like, "Ryuko Matoya, you're the one body who has merged with life fibers just as mine. All this time, you were the daughter I believed to be dead." Bum bum bum. That's the twist. That's the big twist.
Like that's the second twist that set that for the rest of the series.
Yes. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So yes, this whole time, Ryuko has been the long-lost daughter of Ragyo Kirin, the long-lost sister of Satsuki.
The sister that Satsuki was trying to avenge this entire time.
Yes.
Now, something I have not pointed out, but I feel bears mentioning. Satsuki and Ryuko have the same hair color and same eye color.
What?
They both have black hair and blue eyes.
Oh, yeah. But a lot of people do.
Yeah, but like within the show.
Oh, that's fair.
Characters tend to have anime hair and anime eyes. They're different. They have different hair and they're different. Different bright colors. But these two characters specifically have the same hair and eye color combination.
Yeah.
Which is the earliest hint we get that they've got some connection, even though it never really. It's kind of subtle unless you're looking for it, and doesn't click until later on.
Right.
I thought that was interesting to note. Yeah, this is the second big twist. So last episode we get that Satsuki was good the whole time. Second episode we get Ryuko is the long lost daughter and sister.
Yep. And except for Ragyo, this episode's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, except for the shit she pulls. This episode is fantastic.
Let's see. I asked for people to send us in questions. Nobody did. So, I got no questions for us. And I got nothing else to talk about.
No, that's all I've got.
All right.
I just these two major twists kind of set the stage for the rest of the series.
Yeah. There's not a lot more series to go. I think there's like 8 more episodes.
6 episodes? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, I think there's 25 episodes. Meh. Next week, things get worse.
Much worse.
Much worse. God.
24 episodes. There are only 6 left.
Okay.
5 left. No, 6.
6. All right, folks. So that's it for this week. So, hey, Doc, where can people find you if they want to talk to you about stuff?
I'm on Twitter way too much. I'm at Dr. C Monster. That is at DRC Monster. Come and find me on Twitter where you can see me post my Elder Dragon Highlander deck lists.
Nice.
This is the traitor is a lot of fun. Did you know the Mirrodin? Do you know the Mirrodin story?
Kinda.
Okay.
Karn created his own planet. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, and it got corrupted by the Phyrexians, and now that's new Phyrexia. And most of the characters from the original Mirrodin storyline are either dead or converted to Phyrexia.
Right.
In some cases, both.
I kind of lost interest in the story after they left Demiria.
Yeah, fair enough. They did another set on Dominaria. They came back to it. It was really cool. We got to see Teferi, Joyra, Karn.
It's called Time Spiral.
No, after that they did another one.
Oh, they did another one? Oh, yeah. Neat.
Jaya Ballard was there too. Jaya Ballard got another card.
Nice. She's great.
Jaya Ballard is...
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter, as always, at datfireprint, spelled D-A-T. You can find me on my numerous podcasts, even though there's only 2 that are currently updating. We are trying to get the other one going. And who knows? Maybe I'm trying to create even more podcasts. That would be silly. Why would I do that? I don't know. Because I'm a crazy person. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that's everything. So, until next time, don't lose your way.
Don't lose your way.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. A better yet, it's Ketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a life fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley docky and by the mouthful.